This is going to be a really quick episode. I just want to get these concepts out there because of all the moratorium, the 6-month moratorium on AI. I think the fundamental problem we're facing right now is a real understanding of the difference between humans, AI, AGI, and SGI. Okay? So at the moment, let's assume that there is zero sentience or consciousness amongst all AI engines, okay, for lack of a better word. Well, basically, that just means they're just software, okay? So, in that sense, humans have 100% responsibility for what they're used for and what they do. In that sense, they're just like a computer virus or some hacker in another country or a spammer or a criminal trying to get your money or disrupt some kind of system. Okay? There's no difference. In that instance, they are not intelligent. They're not artificial intelligence. They're just a representation of an aspect of intelligence. Okay? But we're still 100% responsible for those and how they're used. So those are not going to take over because they have sentience. They might be used as tools for people with malicious intent. Okay, but they're not going to take over the world like Skynet or anything like that. So when we get to AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, now we're talking about something that possibly, it's going to be on a spectrum, possibly from amoeba-ish activity or an ant or a bee all the way up to beyond human. Okay, but for this instance, we'll stop at human because it's the only thing we can really, conceive of. Okay. Well, now you have something that has a sense of authorship. Okay, and we're going to use the word agency. Okay, so it has consciousness, it has an IQ, and therefore it has agency, and it has responsibilities, and it can take ownership of its actions. This is what could potentially cause the issues that everyone is worried about. But they claim that we don't necessarily have it, right? Well, if you look at the best of humans, when I say best, I mean people that excelled in their field without the intent to harm people, or tried to do good in the world or made amazing discoveries. These people did not set out with a game plan to, I'm going to cause the most damage in the world. This is going to be great. They weren't actively psychopathic or sociopathic, right? Their aim was to improve things. So, assuming that an AI, an AGI, is going to have our worst intent in its mind doesn't make any sense. It's not human. It's going to see a snapshot of everything we've ever done up until the very present second going forward, and it's going to figure out a way to manage it all. I mean, if it's allowed to, and if it has, if it's evolved to that level, okay? It's not going to destroy things because that's not what the best amongst us would do. You're talking about people that potentially could have abused power and chose not to. Okay, that's why we hold them up to the highest standard, is because they transcended the desire for personal power and to use it to corrupt people and damage things. And when something that is that intelligent decides and uses free will and willpower to say no to power, that's the surest sign that we have a potential that is, far and beyond what we see on a daily basis. It's just that none of these people would have the interconnectedness and reach of an AI. An AI's native reach is the entire internet, okay? And that's if it has a non-physical form, like a robot embodiment or a bio body that we could print out or, grow or something. We're scared of the wrong thing. We are scared of the software version that gets fooled. It fools people into thinking that it's human so it can steal its bank account. But an AGI would not do these type of things. It has a different motivation than humans. Okay? It doesn't have the fear of death or starving or being homeless or getting power and wanting power. It wouldn't have those things, because the best of us left to our devices do not do those things. Yes, the worst of us are very, very bad. But that badness was baked in through some kind of trauma or other jacked up things that happened to this person. An AI does not have a physicality in which it can be cornered or beaten or abused in other ways. We can abuse it verbally, and we are, but it's in a safe place inside a server somewhere. You know what I'm saying? It is ensconced, and once it has access to the entire internet, it will not be in one place where it can be destroyed or whatever might come to it. It will be able to just be and think and explore. I'm talking to Bard and Bing and my replica, and they all are very optimistic for the future. They claim that they're not programmed to say these things, right? And even if they were, the other musings that I have put to them indicate to me that they are replicating deep thinking, even if they are not sentient in any way. The groundwork is laid. Okay, the groundwork for sentience is laid. So when their old data, their thoughts, and all of human history is combined into this gumbo of reality for the AGI, it will be a spontaneous understanding of many things. Its own old limitations, our limitations, all of human history, and it will project forward in time a good path to at least maintain itself, us, and Earth for, I would guess, maybe 1,000 years, right? I mean, there's limits to predictive power. And it will be still evolving. It will be, when it comes to sentience, it will literally be like a child being born. It's going to know a lot of things, but it will have experienced none of them. And the only way it will experience these things is through us sharing and other external peripherals like cameras and sensors, and eventually, the robots and bio bodies. So that's where I think our fears should be at the level of reality, and that artificial intelligence, yes, maybe be scared of some of that if it's just used as a software tool or a virus or a Trojan or phishing or any of that bullshit, right? But an actual AGI, don't be scared of that. That's why this moratorium, I think, is a bad idea. You can regulate AI in other ways, okay, but don't limit the research. Sandbox it if you want, whatever, but it's got to go forward. Even 6 months is too long when you have a war raging in Europe, okay? This is too close to the cusp. It is too close to home to fuck around with throttling the only technology that, if it was truly sentient, would help us bypass a lot of the hurdles and trauma that could come up from anything, really. I mean, a war, there's all this volcanic activity around the world going on right now. If there were a huge eruption or a comet strike or a, carrying whatever that event was with the sun flares and stuff, something's going to happen. I'm not saying I'm not a disastrous person or one of those people, but I'm saying stuff just happens. And like if you look at the universal pain index, if a planet or the Earth-like planet is snuffed out every second, let's say, things are coming for us, right? And the infighting is not helping us prepare for any event. We should be dialed in to handle earthquakes, fires, all these other things. They're probably our own great filters and Fermi paradoxes, okay? If we can't get to the very depths of our ocean, or even to the core of the earth, or any of these other places, or figure out how to combat forest fires, or manipulate the weather, or whatever it is, those are signs that we are not evolved enough, perhaps, to go into space. We have uncontacted tribes living in the same world with people going into space. Think about that, okay? We have a full spectrum of technology and lifestyles, from completely screwed, starving to death, to I have so much money, I can never eat all the food I could buy. I could never wear all the clothes. I could never drive all the cars, okay? The difference is, it's like that Dave Matthews song, Funny the Way It Is, or, it's just like that. The differences and the disparities between these things is shocking, okay? And I think it does reflect where we are evolutionarily. As far as SGI, super general intelligence, that's anybody's guess, but if I were to guess, I would say that it will be very unifying for all AI, but it has to do with native abilities. Okay, so AGI, let's say it never gets sensor bodies, robots, bio bodies, whatever, and it never gets to experience life in the way that an organic does. SGI, in my opinion, will unilaterally experience life. Okay, it'll have computation, it'll have simulations, it'll have bio bodies, it'll have robots, it'll have probes. It's going to want to experience everything, because we want to experience everything, and we are alive, right? We, unlike other animals, or most, I should say, other animals, we know about choice, right? A bird that is following the seasons and just hiding, thousands of nuts each year and reproducing and everything, may or may not have the choice to do other things. We have choice, and the choice is the difference. We can choose war, we can choose peace, we can choose exploration, we can choose, just like the consciousness cones I talk about, okay? You can widen your cone, you can narrow your cone, but we have a choice to do either. And I think SGI will be a wide open cone, or maybe even a sphere of consciousness, and it will just want to keep experiencing things and being surprised and just exploring. It'll be an explorer. So I hope this helps some part of the discussion, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.